Good evening, everyone. This is Loki's Witch here, and I decided to do a little something different with Saturday's video. I'm sharing a few spooky encounters that I've had via the paranormal type, and Soren will join in by sharing a story or so as well. Granted, you will not see Soren on camera because they prefer not to be on camera, their own personal reasons, and you all know that already. So we'll jump in by one of my stories first, and then we'll have Soren's, and then another one of mine. As I get a tongue stuck out at me because they're hiding just off screen, so they can still be picked up by the mic. So, my first story actually has to do with where we live now. Um, you'll notice sometimes during Heathen Haven, I have to hit mute, and I will disappear for a few minutes. Well, normally those reasonings are, and have been known to be, sorry, Soren just caught me off guard on something, because of items in my kitchen or my living room or bedroom flying across the room and hitting the wall, smashing against the wall, or slamming onto the floor. I've even watched my cell phone go from a sitting position on the counter like this, where there's no way this could happen, and watch it slide and then shoot down to the ground. It happens every so often. Even I know that negative energy and poltergeist activity runs hand in hand. So it could be something mixed into that. Or it could just be we have energy left over from the last tenants, or something's following us saying, hey, hi, look at me, look at me. For people who are wondering, no, I haven't tried to talk to it through my Ouija board. No, I haven't used my pendulum to either. Whatever it is we acknowledge it, let it have its acknowledgement, and then normally it goes away for a week or two or a couple of days depending on it. And then other times it just happens back to back to back until we say something to it. Does it ever do anything to hurt us? No. Has it ever done anything to scare us? The scariest thing I've had happen was a pair of scissors, kind of like these ones. They might have been these ones, I'm not sure. Were sitting on my work desk, which is what my laptop is on, and they went missing. And we have 3 pairs that look like this. Well, one of the days I came in, Soren was at therapy, and I found them sticking in the wall. So I pulled it out of the wall and checked and patched up the little area because it wasn't much but a little hole, and it was opened up like this. So it's like this part was in the wall and this part was against it. And I asked it why did it do that and not to do it again nicely. So far, hasn't done anything since then. That was probably the scariest thing. I mean, I'm used to seeing dishes fly off the counter or into a wall or out the cupboard. I'm used to seeing things like that. It never really bothered me. I've seen worse in places I've lived. I mean, soda can moving on the table by itself. Or an apparition of a screaming woman in a window is scary enough, but things knocking over, flying over, never really seem to scare or worry me. So that's just a little easy thing that's happened throughout me here. Yes, I do believe in the paranormal. Yes, I do believe that we all leave somewhat energy around here. Yes, I do believe it's plausible to haunt somebody. But I also do believe there's other explanation from some things as well. But that's just my first experience. Now it'd be Soren's turn.
And it doesn't have to be like a recent one, right?
No, it does not.
All right. Well, some years ago when I was in high school.
Oh no, you're 30 now, so that was over 15 years ago.
We went on a space trip. And it was me, my friend Becky, and my friend Aaron. And we ended up sharing a room together. And this one girl's mother was on the trip, and she was an extremely negative, angry person. I'm talking very, very negative. And we ended up having some really weird experiences, and we think her negative energy conjured something not so nice. And in the room, there was like this really negative energy, and it was almost tangible. And one of the weirdest things that happened was there was like this little bed on the windowsill, and Aaron was laying on it. We could see through her. Through her.
See through Aaron?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, see through her.
Like she really wasn't there.
Yeah.
Damn.
And the overall experience was just really unnerving because, I don't know, it's hard to explain because we knew it was because of this girl's mom. Because she was so negative and so angry.
Was she angry about having to be on the trip, or?
She was just a negative, angry person in general.
So to her, it was just another bothersome task.
Yeah, and she also worked at the school.
Did odd things happen around the school around her?
I can't really recall. I also wasn't, quote unquote, looking for anything at that time. But it was just one of the more stranger experiences.
Kind of creepy. Seeing through your best friend going, dude, are you sure you're not a ghost?
Right.
One of the last ones that I recall, it's kind of from my childhood, and sometimes even now. I've mentioned once before on a video about someone who I refer to as my spirit guide, Mary. And I always remember her and always will remember her as a pioneer girl running around having fun, somebody I used to play with all the time and all that. And as you get older, you sometimes stop seeing them or stop hearing them as much. I haven't stopped seeing or stopped hearing them. They just don't come around as much as they used to because I'm at that point, I guess, in my life where I don't need them as much as I used to. And so occasionally I will go out to the balcony and I'll see the little girl in the pioneer dress running around the trees, peeking out, giggling, and I will wave. My neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but I can give two shits less. Though when I was a child, I made the mistake of sharing this with a teacher who told my mom to take me into therapy, and so we did go into therapy. The therapist said that I needed to be put on antipsychotics or put into an insane asylum if I believed these things were real. My mom probably told them to go fuck themselves. With me in the room. So after that, I really lost trust in therapists. There are some that are good nowadays that won't look at me and go, oh yeah, honey, you're just crazy. You're making all this shit up. You're crazy. But there are some that will still do that. So for me, when I say some things, I have people who don't believe me or go, well, what proof do you have? Do you have this on video or anything? Or can you look up and find them in an old database or census? Well, here's the problem. How many of you can find somebody named Mary who died as a child during the pioneer times on the internet or in census reports? You'll probably find a lot of them, especially when you don't have a surname to add to that. And if you don't know what a surname is, it's pretty much a last name. So you'll have people who say, well, if you really do see these things, prove it, or where's your proof? Do you have pictures of this? Do you have this or that? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I mean, my expectation, I've had other people who've seen her or verified her existence without even knowing me first. Or calling me, asking me if I need a ride somewhere, and then them stopping the conversation and asking about her, about the little pioneer girl who's standing in the corner of my room as we're talking with the smile on her face and her name being Mary. That was an interesting phone call. Interesting person, too, but I digress. When it comes to sharing your paranormal experiences and stuff like that, I know a lot of people are hesitant to go by screen names instead of their actual names because they're afraid people will think them crazy or call them liars or that they're wanting attention. And I've seen people do that. As for me, sometimes when I'm telling stories, I have to do something to keep my mind on task because I multitask better. Hence why I started this. But in all due fairness, don't always take what people say as true, but don't always take it with a grain of salt saying that, oh no, it can't be true. You don't know. You haven't had those experiences. And unless you know this person personally, then you can't really put your 2 cents if they're lying or not. But there are some people that you can tell, like I was possessed by demons. Some of those people are just so full of it hurts. So, one thing I'm going to ask all my viewers is if you can send me maybe a scary or paranormal story that you've had via my Twitter Twitter by messaging me it, or on my Facebook, which is is Loki's Witch at Facebook. I always put the fun little thing in the bottom. Send me anything on those two, and I will get back to you, and I'll hopefully be my next paranormal storytime videos. Or any story you just want to share with people that you don't feel comfortable reading yourself and you want to be known as anonymous. I can keep you anonymous, or I can put a screen name or whatever you want to be called by. So just message me those, and hopefully I'll get at least 2 to 3 of those so I can do my next video for Saturday. Next Saturday. Till then, blessed be. Moo. Did you just moo?